Are you staying this time? No? Yes? No? Okay, we're on for now. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sean and this is Snowflake. And Snowflake may not stay long because he's pretty camera shy. That makes two of us. So today we are going to be reviewing The Godfather by Martin Puzo. And this may not look like The Godfather, but I promise it is. It's just a library book. First off, it's impossible to talk about the book without talking about the movie, because the movie, The Godfather, is such a classic that very few people even seem to know about the book. The movie is always called the classic by, what's his name? Francis Ford Coppola. When you say The Godfather, most people are going to think about the movie. And also, when you talk about the movie, the book seldom gets any credit. You always hear Francis Ford Coppola's, or I don't know how to say his name, but his masterpiece, The Godfather. You never hear people say Martin Puzo's The Godfather. And as a writer, I think that's kind of cheap, because the writer is the one who did most of the work. They're the ones who came up with all these scenes, and the films took these scenes and made them classics. So there is so much in the book that is also in the movie, like the horse's head scene and so many things, the gun in the bathroom, and all these great scenes from the film are directly out of the book. You having fun, Snowflake? There's a lot of books where the book is just about as famous as the movie, like Twilight, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, Gone with the Wind. When you talk about one, you may think of the book, you may think of the movie, but both are pretty well known. There are a few books where the movie is so much more well known than the book. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. And three of these come to mind, and they would be Thomas Harris's Silence of the Lambs. There would also be Winston Groom, I think his name is. He wrote Forrest Gump. And then there's Martin Puzo's The Godfather. When you say The Godfather, Forrest Gump, or Silence of the Lambs, most times you're going to be thinking about the movie. You're not going to think about the book so much. You may not even know there is a book. So as a writer, I find that a little bit disturbing, because I think the writer is the one who came up with all the scenes, and they should really get credit for what they've done. But for those instances, Silence of the Lambs, Forrest Gump, The Godfather, it seems to be Francis Ford Coppola gets a credit, or Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump, or what's his name? Is it Anthony Hopkins or Perkins? I always get Hopkins and Perkins mixed up. Perkins was in Psycho, Hopkins was in Silence of the Lambs, and a million other things. Odin is with us, and Snowflake is with us. So as I started to read The Godfather, my first impression was that this could be a masterpiece. It was pretty well written. Everything about the film that I remember was in the book. So all in all, it was looking like it was off to a strong start. But then as I kept reading, I began to notice certain things. So one of the problems I began to pick up on is that Martin Puzo had a terrible tendency to full name his characters. I don't know if this upsets other readers, but it annoys the heck out of me. And Martin Puzo does it a lot. He does it with Michael, his main character, Michael Corleone, he doesn't just say Michael or Corleone, he says Michael Corleone. And I do not know why, because he's the only Michael in the book. So when he says Michael, will be nope. All he needs to do is just say Michael and we'll know which character he's referring to. He doesn't need to say Michael Corleone all the time. Same way, he also does this with Johnny Fontaine. He doesn't just say Johnny or Fontaine. He says Johnny Fontaine. There's only one Johnny in the book. There's only one Fontaine in the book. It's the same guy. So just say Johnny or just say Fontaine. Don't say Johnny Fontaine. It's annoying. He also does this with the, I don't even know how to pronounce it. This would help if I've seen the film. The advisor guy, Tom Hagen. He doesn't just call him Tom, he doesn't just call him Hagen, he calls him Tom Hagen. And he should just refer to him as Tom or just refer to him as Hagen. There's only one Tom and one Hagen in the book, so just say Tom or Hagen. Don't say Tom Hagen. It annoys me. Stop this, writers. So I really wish writers would just pick one name for their characters, their first or their last name, use it and stick with it. I almost knocked something over. So... Are you okay, boy? You look so frightened. It's okay, boy. I think we're going to lose him. He looks like he's about ready to fly. Where was I? We're not good at this, Snowflake. You're doing fine. You're doing a good job. You're just sitting there being a bird. Me, I'm here being an idiot. Okay. Okay, the next thing that Martin Puzo did that I began to notice is, although much of the story was real good, he also had storylines that just didn't seem to go anywhere. In particular, the one with Johnny Fontaine, and also with Sonny's girl. I forget her name. I think it was Lucy or Lacey. I think it was Lucy, but that was Sonny's girl, and she went out west. And there's this whole plot line. Basically, there's this plot line about her lower female plumbing area is too large, so she gets a surgery to make it tighter so her new guy could enjoy sleeping with her more. There's this whole storyline about that. And why is this in the book? It's just... Does this frustrate you too? Because it frustrates the heck out of me. Martin Puzo spends a good 100 pages probably, maybe not that much, but about 50 pages, talking about this woman, Sonny's girl, her lower area, and why. I think that those words could have been much better spent on something else relating to the Dawn or to Michael or to Sonny. And even Tom Hagen, we could have gotten more backstory on him. Or there's also two sort of mobster mafia guys who are close to the Corleones. It's Tessio and... oh, what's the other guy's name? Tessio and... something. But we could have gotten more scenes about those guys. I don't know why we needed to see these 50 pages about Sonny's girl's lower area. And, oh, it was just awful. That brings us to the third problem. I think it's third. With... Are you okay, boy? Oh, I got a kiss. The next problem that I picked up on in Martin Puzo's writing is that he had a terrible tendency to repeat things. The first one that I noticed, and it drove me insane, was Johnny Fontaine. It seemed every single sentence Martin Puzo would remind the readers that Johnny Fontaine lost his singing voice. I honestly think he said something about Johnny Fontaine's singing voice 120 times. It was just insane. Just over and over again. He lost his voice. He lost his voice. I can't sing anymore. I can't sing anymore. My throat hurts. I can't sing anymore. It's just on and on. And then it picks up when the book shifts to Italy and picks up with Michael's story. It talks again and again about Michael's... oh, I don't even know what was injured. He got hit in the jaw by a policeman, and so that caused like a disfigurement in his face. And Martin Puzo repeatedly mentions Michael's disability or his jaw, or he says something about his nose having snot all the time running out of his nose. Just again and again he keeps saying this, and it's aggravating because we only need to see it 1 or 2 times. After that it's just again and again, and it's like, I got it. Johnny Fontaine can't sing anymore. Michael Corleone has a disfigurement. We don't need to keep hearing about it every single paragraph. Are you okay? Am I frightening you out by how angry I'm getting with this review? You're a good boy. So after reading The Godfather, I was surprised to see that it is not actually listed on this top 1000 book list that I have. There's all these books mentioned, but The Godfather by Martin Puzo is not on there. And I think that's a little bit odd, because I think it is all in all a decent story. And since the film is such a classic, I'm really surprised that the book doesn't get more attention. I don't really hear anyone talking about this book, The Godfather. And that's real interesting to me. And I know I've said that the writing is not very good. I think a lot of times the writing comes off as maybe someone's second novel, maybe their third novel, or maybe it's an early draft of a more experienced writer. It definitely feels like there was a lot of work that could have been done on the book. So the writing is not that great, but the story is overall real good. And since it spawned such a classic movie, I'm just surprised that this book doesn't get very much attention. Hi. No. It's still known as Francis Ford Coppola's. Someone needs to tell me how to pronounce it. It's his masterpiece, The Godfather. And I really wish that Martin Puzo would get some more credit for this book. So the ultimate test for whether a book is good or not is if someone is going to be willing to read the next book or another book by the author. And after reading this, I definitely think I would be willing to read another Martin Puzo book. I'm not so big on reading more of the Godfather series, because to me, this first book, The Godfather, was good as a standalone book. I don't really feel the need to read another Godfather book or a prequel or a sequel or whatever. I think this book by itself was pretty good. Maybe that'll change if I go and see the movie again. Maybe I'll want to read the next book and then compare that one to the next movie. So we'll see about that, but I'm not going to be in a rush to go read the next Martin Puzo book or the next Godfather book. Hey, okay, so there was one more thing that I didn't quite get around to saying about in the review, and that is how Puzo deals with his women characters. I touched on it a little bit with Sonny's Girl and how he had this storyline about her operation, but I wanted to delve into it a little bit more. There were 3 primary female characters in The Godfather. There was Sonny's Girl, there was Michael's Girl, and then there was another of Michael's girls when he went to Italy. And something about these women in Puzo's book is that they only really seem to exist for sex. And I don't want to judge too harshly that aspect, because I think that was kind of the in thing then, was to have very sexualized, almost pornographic details about women, and I don't know. So I think that was very deliberate, Puzo's, the way he wrote women. So the way people view us in 10, 20, 50 years, they're going to look at things we did and be astounded by it. Like, how could we have done that or thought that? So I don't really like to judge people in the past for things they did or things they believed. I know it's easy to say that, oh, well, they should have known better. And that's true, but still, I think it's wrong to really judge when it's a different time, it's a different place, and we're different. So I try to give some leeway to that. But that was definitely something, as I read The Godfather, that stood out to me, was the way Puzo described women. He also had quite explicit sex scenes, which was a bit unexpected. So if you do read this book, be aware of that. It's definitely not something that kids should read. I will say that from a writing standpoint, I think a lot of Puzo's descriptions about women, I think those scenes could have been rewritten to make the female characters have more depth to them. Michael's main girl, for instance, I even forget her name. That's kind of how forgetful Puzo's female characters are. They really don't stand out. I'm sure someone will grill me for not knowing her name, and I'm sure it's really easy to remember. But she really only exists to have sex with Michael. There is a little bit more to that, and I definitely understand how her character is important, because she is the normal character, so to speak. She's not a part of this world that the Corleones are from. So she is the outsider. And I get that, but she's not really very well developed as a character. So I think a lot of the words that Puzo used to describe her sex with Michael, I think those words could have been much more effectively used by developing her character. And the same thing goes for Sonny's girl and Michael's, I don't want to give a spoiler, but his girl in Italy. All we really got is their physical scenes with the male characters. So I definitely think that the book would have been better if we had had that kind of development for the female characters. So this isn't something I'm going to deduct points from the book for. I wonder if I said that right. Because like I said, I don't want to judge, but I do wish that the female characters would have been more developed, more rounded, just had more character to them rather than just objects. And on that subject, the men also, I don't quite know how to say it, but it's of course a very male-dominated family or a very male-dominated culture, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. Just the way Puzo describes the role of men over women and the way women... It's just basically all about sex. That's it. So it's definitely something that stood out in the book. But yeah, I just wanted to add that. And is that it? Are we done? Do you have anything to add, Snowflake? That would totally be weird if I'm just talking and Snowflake is like, may I butt in here for a second? That would freak me out. I would scream like a girl. I do scream like a girl. Use it and stick with it. Anyway. Hello. Okay, good enough. So I guess we're going to end here. Nope. Hi, bird. So, hopefully I've given you an idea about... Nope. Okay. The book is... No. He does this also with the I don't know what to call him. He's like the advisor guy, Tom Hagen. This would help if I've seen the movie so I'd know what that word is. I don't really want to say it because I'll just butcher it, but it's like consigliere or something. I'm terrible at that. Are you as embarrassed as me? I think he's settling down now because he's just like, man, I shouldn't even be nervous. The human is totally blowing this. So as I began to read The Godfather, Could you please take over doing all the speaking? I'm not good at this. As I read the book, there were a few things... No. So when I started the book, The Godfather... No. Why don't you just take over speaking and I'll just be here silent and staring like a frightened animal. We're both frightened animals. No. So... when... No. So there are many... No. I hate when authors... No. What up? Now, the ultimate... No. Book is... No. This is a difficult boy. Good boy. You're a good boy, Snowflake. What? There's... No. Movie. There are so many... No. As the first... No.